Good morning, my name is Peter Lim and I am here to do a read aloud. A read aloud of Baboushka and the Three Kings. This story is by Ruth Robbins, illustrated by Nicholas Sidjakov, adapted from a Russian folk tale. This is made for ages 4 to 7 years old, in other words, pre-K to 3rd grade. So here we go. Our two vocabulary words for this book are meager and linger. What do they mean? In other words, let's see what they are in the story. Baboushka and the Three Kings. Long ago, and far away on a winter's evening, the wind blew hard and cold around a small hut. Inside the hut, Baboushka was sweeping and scrubbing, and feeding wood to the stove. The old woman took pride in the clean comfort of her meager home. Meager. So what does this mean? Is it small, lacking something, not enough, falling short of what's normal? Why is her home meager? She does so much work of scrubbing and sweeping and feeding the stove. And what is the comfort to have it clean? Why? What does it lack? The swirling snow drifted and deepened outside. Baboushka's hut felt snug around her. Her warm stove was the center of a cold world. As day turned into night, a trumpet call sounded on the wind. A train of travelers was approaching. Leading the procession was a magnificent sleigh drawn by 3 white horses. In the sleigh rode 3 men, splendid figures, wearing jeweled crowns and cloaks of crimson and ermine. Men on horseback followed the sleigh, and behind them trudged men on foot. The procession stopped at the door of Baboushka's hut. Baboushka heard a knock. When she lifted the latch, the 3 strangers stood in the doorway. The poor women looked in wonder at their elegant dress, their frosted beards, their kind eyes. What manner of men were these? In answer to her thought, one of the 3 smiled and said, "We have been following a bright star to a place where a babe is born. Now we have lost our way in the snow. Come with us, Baboushka. Help us to find the child, to offer him gifts, and to rejoice in his birth." Baboushka shivered in the cold. She hugged a shawl tightly around her thin shoulders. "Good sirs, come in and warm yourself by the stove. I have not yet finished my day's work, and I shudder to go on out on such a cruel night. Morning is wiser than evening. Rest here this night, and I will go with you in the dawn." "There is no time to linger," Baboushka answered the strangers. "If you cannot come with us now, we must continue our journey." They turned and disappeared on the shore. So linger. Why did the strangers not want her to linger? To stall or be slow in moving? Why? She does so much work and so much care for the comfort of her home. Of her meager home. And yeah. So let's go to the next page after they ride off into the night. Baboushka went back to her sweeping and scrubbing. Her work finished, she sat down to a lonely supper close by the stove. The warmth of the fire reached into her heart. She felt a sudden tenderness and joy for the newborn child. What grand gentlemen those 3! They did seem like kings, she said aloud. It is no ordinary babe they seek. Yes, I must go and follow them. To find the new babe, to offer him her gift, was now her one yearning. This thought burned in her mind like a candle in the dark. Baboushka woke before dawn and made ready for her journey. Into her sack she carefully placed a few poor but precious gifts, As the new day began, she stepped out onto the quiet snow. The old woman hunted for the path made by the travelers, but the snow had covered their way. Stopping one person, then another, and still another, she asked, "In which direction did the three kings go, they who were seeking the child?" Neither old nor young could tell her. Baboushka stood watching the children at play in the new snow, the dogs yelping and dancing around her. But she must not delay. She must push her way ahead. From village to village, from door to door she went, asking, "Have you seen the child?" Always she received the same answer. No one had seen him. Never stopping, Baboushka wandered on searching for the child, but never finding him. And it is said that every year at the season when the birth of the child was first heralded, Baboushka renews her search across that land with new hope. And it is said that every year, little children await the coming of Baboushka. They find joy in the poor but precious gifts she leaves behind in the silent night. Thank you. That is my read aloud of Baboushka and the Three Kings.